A blonde girl was going on her first date, and her grandmother gave her some advice. The boy may try to kiss you. It will feel good, but don't do it. He may try to go up your skirt, but don't let him. He may try to take your clothes off, but don't do it. He may try to get on top of you, but don't do it. If you do any of these things, you will disgrace your family. The girl said she understood and went on her date. She came home about 11 p.m. and her grandmother was waiting for her. She asked, "Well, did you disgrace the family?" "No," said the girl. "Instead of letting him do those things to me, I did them to him, and now it's his family that's disgraced." 4 elderly ranchers were enjoying breakfast in a small cafe in northern Arizona. They were talking about everything from cattle, horses, and weather to how things used to be in the good old days. Eventually, the conversation moved on to their spouses. One gentleman turned to the fellow sitting next to him and said, "Roy, aren't you and your bride celebrating your 50th wedding anniversary soon?" "Yep, we sure are," Roy said. "Well, are you going to do anything special to celebrate?" another man asked. The old gentleman pondered this for a moment, then replied, "For our 25th anniversary, I took Bea to Tucson. Maybe for our 50th anniversary, I'll go down there and get her." Four older men were playing golf. 3 took turns at boasting about their sons, knowing the fourth man's son was gay and having disparaging thoughts about him. The first chap says, "My son has done extremely well this year. He has made such a pile that he was even able to make a friend a gift of a brand new house." "Wow," say the others. The next father boasts, "Well, my boy this year did so well financially that he was able to give a friend a brand new Lamborghini." "Wow," say the others. The third chup says, "As for my son, this year he made so much extra money he was able to take a friend on a round-the-world cruise. They are still away." "Wow," say the others. "Respect." The fourth father finally has a turn to speak. The other fathers stifle their laughter. "Well, as you know, my son is gay. And this year he has done so extremely well. One lover gave him a brand new house, another lover gave him a brand new Lamborghini, and the third lover has taken him away on a round-the-world cruise. He's still on it." Dave took Mary out for a romantic dinner where the conversation turned to the subject of marriage. Dave had been saving for an engagement ring, but he was in graduate school and in dire need of a new computer. Mary was understanding, telling Dave they had the rest of their lives to get engaged, so he should use his savings to buy a computer instead. During dessert, Dave suddenly reached into his pocket and pulled out an engagement ring. Mary was stunned, but after she collected herself, she looked up and asked, "Well, don't you have something to ask me?" Dave went down on one knee and asked, "Honey, will you buy me a new computer?" Back in the day, a sister and her little brother are attending the first day of elementary school in a one-room country school. The teacher is having all the students stand and give their names. When it's the sister's turn, she stands and says, "My name is Snotty Jones." "No," says the teacher, "I don't want you to give us your nickname. I want your real given name." "But teacher," says the girl, "that is my real name. Everybody has called me that for my whole life." "Well, that's just not possible. And if you don't know what the name on your birth certificate is, I'm going to have to send you home to get it." "Okay, I guess that's what I have to do," the girl says and gathers her belongings. As she walks by her little brother's desk, she says, "Come on, Shitty, she's not going to believe you either." An older lady goes to a portrait artist. She tells him, "I hear you are the best portrait artist in the city. I want you to do a portrait of me for my husband. I want you to paint me just as I am. Do not add any dimples because I don't have any. Now, if you have any extra paint left over, I want you to do me a favor. On my portrait, on my hands and wrists, I want you to add some gold and diamond rings on my fingers. On my wrists, I want you to add some platinum and diamond bracelets. Make them big and fancy and expensive looking if you can. I'd like a large jeweled necklace with some rubies and a large diamond, bigger than the Hope diamond, around my neck. Also, if you can, please add a jeweled tiara or crown to my hair." The artist said, "Yes, I can do all of that for you. But why do you want me to add all of that extra stuff?" The lady said, "When I die, my husband will probably get remarried within a week, and I want his new wife to go crazy looking for all of that jewelry." A priest, a minister, and a guru sat discussing the best positions for prayer, while a telephone repairman worked nearby. The priest started, "Kneeling is definitely the best way to pray." "No," said the minister, "I get the best results standing with my hands outstretched to heaven." "You're both wrong," the guru said. "The most effective prayer position is lying down on the floor." The repairman couldn't contain himself no longer. "Hey, fellas," he interrupted, "the best praying I ever did was when I was hanging upside down from a telephone pole." As a group of robbers entered the bank, their leader went to the manager and asked him to open the vault. He threatened the manager by saying, "If you try to do anything smart, you're fiction." The manager was confused and asked him, "Don't you mean you are history?" The robber angrily replied back, "Do not change the subject, okay?" My 67-year-old dad and I were riding the bus, heading downtown to go to the movies, when a young punk got on. She had spiked, multicolored hair that was green, purple, and orange. Her clothes were a tattered mix of leather rags, her legs were bare, and she was wearing worn-out shoes. Her entire face and body were riddled with pierced jewelry, and her earrings were big, bright feathers. She sat down in the only vacant seat that was directly across from us. My dad raised an eyebrow and stared at the girl. Finally, the punk got self-conscious and barked at my dad, "What are you looking at, you old geezer? Didn't you ever do anything wild when you were young?" Without missing a beat, my dad replied, "Yeah, back when I was young and in the Navy, I got really drunk one night in Singapore and screwed a parrot. I thought maybe you were my daughter." A Polish man is sitting at a bar having a few drinks when he notices a lovely lady sitting down at the other end of the bar and orders a drink. The Polish guy calls the bartender over and says, "Whatever she is drinking, give her another one and tell her it is on me." The bartender replies, "I don't think you want to do that." "What do you mean?" yells the Polish guy. "Send her the drink." "Okay," the bartender replies, "but I don't think it is a good idea." "And why not?" asks the Polish guy. The bartender leans over the bar and very softly says, "Because she's a queer." "I don't care. Send her the drink," the Polish guy says. So after the lady gets her drink, the Polish guy very casually strolls down to the other end of the bar and sits down next to her and says, "So what part of queer are you from?" A pretty young blonde visiting her new doctor for the first time found herself alone in a small waiting room. She began undressing nervously, preparing herself for the upcoming examination. Just as she draped the last of her garments over the back of a chair, a light rap sounded on the door, and a young doctor strode in. Coming to an abrupt halt, the doctor looked his nude patient up and down carefully and with considerable appreciation. "Miss Smith," he said finally, "it seems quite obvious to me that until today you have never undergone an eye examination." A stand-up comic gets a gig to perform at an old-age home. Soon into his act, he notices that most of the old people there are pretty out of it, so he tries to tell the same joke twice, and people still laugh because they have already forgotten that they just now heard it. So he gets a kick out of it and keeps telling the same joke for half an hour, and towards the end of it, he notices that one old guy is staring at him. He finishes his half hour and is about to leave when that old guy approaches him. The comic is a bit nervous that the old guy is going to confront him about what he just did. He braces himself for some uncomfortable confrontation, but the old guy asks him, "How do you remember all those jokes?"